chance for an evening ride. How wild is that? But there's a catch. The reason there's a chance for an evening ride is because Tracy has our girl at the beach tonight. And the reason for that, of course, is because it is unbearably hot today. The one chance I get to ride is when we're breaking heat records. Probably not just for June, but for like late summer too. We're sitting at about 36 degrees Celsius right now. I'm not even going to tell you what that is in Fahrenheit, because that just increases the chances that someone from like Florida or Texas is going to be like, "You call that hot?" We're going to head in a direction that should have some cooler air waiting for us. The only problem with that is to get there you got to go through some warmer air in town. Yeah, you know it's warm when you come off the highway and the bike is still showing 76 Celsius. If I have to do any amount of creeping through town, this is going to get hot. And we just replaced the battery this year because every time the bike would get hot before, it would kind of struggle to start. I don't plan on shutting it off, but even though it almost never happens, the possibility of a stall is always there. Alright, let's see if we make it through to the other side. Kilometers an hour for quite a while now. Temperature's still at 90 degrees. 8, I think. I can't really hear the fan on this bike very well, especially with earplugs in. It ran like 90 time I was off the highway. Much heat up my back. I think it's totally heat soaked now, so the wind is just pushing all that heat right up there. It's crazy. We're rolling along over 90 now, and it's still just creeping down. We're down to 86 Celsius now. Typically it would take no time at all to get even like 10 degrees lower than that. But like most other aspects of this bike, it's just not happy unless you're doing at least 110, 120. I kind of wish it gave an ambient temperature reading, just so I could see where it peaked and what it might drop to coming through here. The worst part is it might not even be that cool. Sometimes you get some drastic temperature drops coming through this way, but other times you don't get anything. I think Mike came through here yesterday. It was about 30 degrees Celsius, and I think he said he's seen like 16 degrees in a couple of spots. I've seen some major temperature swings coming this way, but I don't imagine we're going to see anything like that today. Man, I'm starting to think that 82 is about the lowest I'm going to see until I see some lower ambient temps here. That's nuts. There it is. There it is. Just drove through the wall. Temperature has dropped 12 degrees. You can just see up in the hills there, though. I imagine once you get up into that elevation, the heat will return. I don't know how to deal with time to play with this evening, so that would... Camera's doing a couple of oddball things, and I don't know how well it's working. Once again, I'm only gonna know once I sit down and look at what it's recording. Not really responding to the buttons very well. Stopped to pull my helmet off and it's giving me some kind of message like, "There's a problem with your last file. Do you want to fix it?" Yeah, sure. I'd like to. It's like, come on, you're not supposed to do this. You're supposed to be the answer to GoPro's bullshit. Man, it's windy down here too. The wind is coming right in off the water, which is why it's so damn cool. Bike temperature's now dropped about 18 degrees. Oh yeah, this road is like all new now. A ton of construction going on here for I don't know how long. Just passing through it, it's a pretty boring piece of road really to look at. You'd never think that that much work went into it. Just when you're getting used to the temperature, you just feel it getting cooler again. We're basically approaching the limit to what the bike's temperature is going to tell us. This is basically the minimum temperature you ever see it run at. At this point, the thermostat is probably starting to close up a little bit to maintain some heat. I still find it very funny when I see cars running around with those old license plates on them. There's a batch of license plates in this province for about a solid year. They were defective and they end up looking like this thing. Make sure I'm getting close enough you can actually see this. There's just nothing left to it. The stamped imprint of the numbers with no colors, no paint, nothing. And basically everyone who got one was eventually given a warning once they realized what was going on. I'm sure someone would say, oh, it wasn't a warning, it was just a notice to tell them that their plate was defective and they can come get a new one. Well, maybe, but believe me, it was also worded in a way to tell you that if you don't come get a new plate, you're probably going to get fined, because they turn into this, just an unreadable mess. But I still see a ton of them running around. Cops must not be doing much about it. Went for 7th gear there. It's a hard one to find. Alright, now we're getting into the area where we might find fog. I think I just seen some up in the hills. It would not surprise me at all if it actually got cloudy and foggy in some place. There it is in the hills. Bike is down to 63 degrees now, even lower. And it's getting like, it's cold. Like, if I were leaving for a ride right now and this was the temperature outside, I would not have vents open on my jacket. I came through here before, it was like, I don't know, 26 degrees in town, sunny. I got here, it was so overcast and foggy. It was kind of even raining a little bit. It was so damn cold, people had fires going in their houses. 62 degrees now. Bike has dropped 20 degrees. I'm sure the thermostat is closing up to keep heat in it. Look how low that fog is. Right off the water. Fundy can be weird, but it's really nice and handy whenever it's this hot out. Trying to think where we'll go to. Maybe Wolf Lake. Go as far as there and then head back. At that point it should still be fairly cool. We shouldn't be getting back into the full-on heat by then. Sweepy section of road at speed. Of course, someone on a cruiser comes around just as I'm coming out of a turn and thinks you're the devil. You can actually feel it warming up a little bit. Alma is right down on the water, but it's often just a little bit warmer than it is back there. Just the way that bay air gets funneled in, I guess. Horses are probably pretty glad it's not 36 degrees here. But I imagine horses don't really think about stuff like that. They probably got other things on their mind, like politics and Stanley Cup playoffs. You're just going fast enough to be annoying, man. Maybe we'll stop for a break in Alma. Have a peek at my phone, see if Tracy's on her way back yet. I think at some point tonight, we might have to go toilet shopping, of all things. With all that good luck I have, I think I just randomly had a toilet in my house internally crack. I can't complain too much though, because when something like that happens, there's typically a flood that follows. This one, lucky enough, seems to have cracked in a way where it's draining its water down its own drain. So that's not bad. It's just very strange and very annoying. Now that I've got down in there and really inspected the situation, it looks like there's two little channels that have been eroded into the toilet. It's probably been there since the house was built about 20 years ago, but I mean, still, how many times does a toilet need to be flushed before it erodes a hole in itself? Now, shall we stop here and have a peek at the wharf, or is it just overcrowded? Not really. Kind of surprising. much, much better here. I don't know how far we'll go, if we even make it to Wolf Lake, but we'll certainly take a run up the hill. Lots of fog out there. Stopped and checked the weather. It's showing 20 degrees here in Alma, so 15 degrees cooler than it is in town. And some of those spots I passed before Alma, I'm sure were cooler. They definitely felt cooler. Wednesday night, not much traffic here either. Timing. Ooh, feel it getting warmer up the hill though. Oftentimes the cool air will hold on for quite a ways, but when there's this kind of hot air nearby, it makes quite a difference. At this rate, I can tell we'll definitely be hitting hot air again before Wolf Lake. It's already considerably hotter. Operating temp's already up about 5 or 6 degrees. Yeah, we're approaching 6:30 and it looks like I got about 97 kilometers on right now. So, if I turn back pretty soon, that means I should be able to make it home with 1 tank of fuel also, which is also convenient. That's what I'll do. I'll go exactly 100 kilometers. And that should bring me to just about exactly 6:30. I also forgot to stop and take a picture at exactly 44,000 kilometers. Every odometer milestone is a big deal when you have a valve train that continually tries to eat itself. Oh, 100 kilometers and we made it to the highest point in Fundy. Boom, 100, right on the nose, right at the top of the hill. Turn at Caribou Plain. Yeah, speaking of this valve train, that's kind of why hot weather almost makes me a little nervous. The first time this thing screwed up was a very hot day. Maybe not this hot, but hot. Does that actually have anything to do with it? I don't know. No lookout stop tonight. Looks kind of cool with all the fog and everything, but back down the big hill. Ooh, there's the cool air. Every turn you just feel it getting colder and colder. Oh, come on, the turns are done. Go now. It's colder and colder with every foot of elevation it drops. Okay, yeah, this makes total sense. Sideways in the road. It's showing 21 for Alma right now, but there's no way. I think it's cooler. Now that even the sun is starting to lose some of its strength, I bet you it's dropping down even lower than that. And then in some of the towns I'm going to head through on the way back through here, it's going to be even lower again. Long time since I was out there. Every time I go, the road sucks. The worst part is you get all this nice cool air and then it's just quickly going to come to an end and it's going to be back to sweating. Coming up on a white SUV. For a second back there I thought it was a cop. At that point I might as well pull over and just be like, I'm going to be late. Sorry. Those damn tar snakes, there's a whole bunch of them in this section of road too. I hate them. I never liked them before, but after that time in Cushionbuckwhack, now I have to remember to put a link for that here. That was a good one. Alright, that's enough. Hey, horsies. For some reason, I always think back to one of the first times I rode with Mike and Vinny. I had Tracy's 400 coming through here. Of course, they're just cooking along, expecting to get to the other side and, you know, have to stop and wait for me. That girl was just singing. Well, she stuck with him. Vinny did a bit of a double take when he looked in his mirror and seen that I was still there. I was like, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but as long as there's some turns involved, guys, I can keep up. If it just starts coming down to straight line speed, then yeah, I'm probably going to lose you. But that's alright, because straight line speed is not what makes the 400 as fun as it is. It's roads like this and roads that are actually even tighter than this. Tighter the better for that one. Right about here is when it's at its peak coolness. Man, I passed that camper a long time ago when I was going the other direction. I don't even want to know what it costs to buy a Sprinter that's converted over to a RV. It's probably frightening. Got a big green dead bug right between my eyes. Whoa, there is cool air. I lied back there when I said that was the peak. The peak is here. Which kind of makes sense because that's the spot where you always see the fog rolling in. 644, 125 kilometers. We'll make better time heading home because there's much less traffic this time of day and just in this direction, period. An area I already drove through on this road that I'm going to drive through again. I haven't heard the details on it yet, but I think last night there was a bad accident on it involving at least one, possibly two motorcycles, and I'm hearing possibly a fatality. Just 100% unconfirmed information so far, but someone said that the bikes may have entered the road. They were stopping on the side of the road in a parking lot or something, and they may have entered the road near a blind turn, and a car might have came around and got them. I don't know. Terrible either way. I must say this about this camera. It hasn't given me too many problems, really. The odd little glitch here and there, nothing compared to a GoPro. But once I'd seen that I liked it, I'm like, okay, I need to stock up on batteries now. And I mean, it's not a bad idea no matter what. But I finally got a chance to get out and use it to its potential after ordering 2 new batteries. And I got damn near an hour, or maybe even a little over an hour of recording on a single battery. Wow, that's wild. And that is, since that includes the camera shutting itself off in between uses, that means that an hour of recording really equals out to like a day of riding. So that's very impressive. Now I've got 3 batteries. The battery is one slight annoying part about the camera though. You can't really see easily how much charge is left in the battery. With the GoPro you can just kind of glance at the front of the screen. Why, thank you. So yeah, this one, you've got to look at this screen, which is on the back of the camera, which in my mount is up against the helmet. And when you do that, it doesn't give you an actual percentage readout, it just gives you a little, you know, icon, little picture of the battery. But I mean, when that picture of the battery is only like 3 millimeters long, it's hard to tell just how much is actually left in there. Making much better time so far. That just means I'm burning through the cool air. It's going to start warming up again before long. Yeah, I think I mentioned a while ago about the cats being removed on this. Still running the stock pipes on it with the cats out. It doesn't sound bad, really. The weight reduction from even a proper slip-on would be nice, but there weren't a lot of single exhausts made for this thing, so you got to go double. Double means double the price. So the fact that it already sounds okay just keeps me from wanting that, I guess. Now, the Bandit, that was another story. That thing leaves me wanting a little more sound. So I was like, you know what? The theme of this bike was cheap, so we're gonna stick to it. And once again, on AliExpress, I found a mid-pipe and a slip-on exhaust for it for like, I don't know, $125 total. It's like, for that price, we will try it. At the very least, I've got a mid-pipe out of it, because it doesn't seem too bad, and it will accept other exhausts. So I put it on the other night. I took it out. I don't think I made it a full kilometer. I turned around, went home. It's just obnoxiously loud. The pipe itself turned out to be much shorter than I was expecting. I purposely ordered the longest one I could find, and it still didn't turn out to be very long. So yeah, I came back, and it came with a baffle to put in it, but the baffle, just by looking at it, I think it's going to totally choke it off. It's not going to flow very good at all. I put it in, I tried it, just don't like it. And the biggest issue is that bike runs so damn lean. Even with the stock exhaust on it, I had a feeling that it was backfiring a lot. It's just that the stock exhaust is like the size of a rain barrel, so it hides a lot of that. But I was sure that's what it was doing, and of course, once I got that pipe on, I confirmed that it's like, yeah, it backfires a lot. So any slip-on I put on there without any fuel tuning, it's going to be noisy. So I don't know, now that I have that mid-pipe, maybe I'll try something else down the road. Get just a plain Jane oval slip-on from Delcovic or something. I think you can get them up to like 18 inches long, so that'll do a better job at quieting it down. It's not even a sound thing so much with the Bandit. I do enjoy the sound of a nice exhaust, but on that bike, I don't care if it's quiet. But like I said, that slip-on is enormous. It'd be nice to drop some weight off of it, but that's got to go on the back burner because I've got toilets to buy. Well, the real cool air has pretty much come to an end. We're not in the full-blown hot yet, but the bike's temperature's rising. My temperature's rising. So from here, the pace will only get slower and hotter as we approach town. So maybe we'll call this the end. So if you're still watching, go type the words, push the buttons, click the links, do the things that YouTube likes. Oh man, you just feel the wave of heat now. I'll try and make it home without succumbing to heat exhaustion. You can come back and check out the next one.